Hello, I'm Cahlen, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make a hot chocolate drink, which is vegan and also will put me into ketosis. And I'm doing this all while living in the back of my truck. So I got all the food that I use, all the heating tools and all that type of stuff in the truck right with me right here where I sleep. So let me just give you a quick look at the actual setup, like what I'm working with, and then we'll get into making the drink. So here behind the front driver's seat, I have my water bottle and 2 titanium containers. And then this is just the entryway basically to the truck. The front seat's out. Got my shoes there. Got a propane tank, and it is running this little stove which has a bunch of heat bricks on it. And with the heat powers that fan. And behind it you can see the pot that I'm going to be warming water in a second. Then I have these 2 stacking crates, which basically contain food and stuff like that. And then beyond that are just some containers for random things. And then I have a Blendtec blender on top of my battery, all being charged by that solar panel out there. Okay, I've got some water heating up on the stove, and while that's doing that, let's just go through the basic ingredients. So first I have cocoa powder or cacao powder. So this is basically chocolate just without the sweetness. And there's lots of benefits to chocolate. It has lots of antioxidants, lots of polyphenols. These are all really important things, and so I'm glad that I'm getting a big dose of it every morning. And then next main ingredient, and this is kind of like the big part of it, is a can of coconut milk. So it's not diluted, all that type of stuff. It's just basically ground up coconut, all parts of it except that brown part on the outside. That's my understanding. So I also make sure it's a no BPA lining of the can, and because that will mess with your hormones. And then also I try and get it organic. So then there's this is basically called MCT oil. This brand calls it XCT because it's a little bit more refined than normal MCT. So MCT it's medium chain triglycerides, and those are basically just fats, a couple of the fats which exist inside of coconut oil. And those specific fats have the benefit of, when you consume them, they put you into ketosis basically instantly. And ketosis can normally take multiple days to get into. And ketosis has lots of benefits, like it helps with weight loss, helps with kind of clarifying your mind, stabilizing your energy levels. Some people say it even helps with things like cancer and Alzheimer's. So I always start my day in ketosis, and then I end it by eating carbs. So I'm trying to gain weight, so I end my day by eating carbs, so that while I'm sleeping, that sugar is getting converted into fat and being added to my body. So next is sunflower lecithin. So lecithin is an emulsifier, which is something which takes water and oil and makes it so that they can actually mix together. Normally they will just one will sit on top of the other, but this stuff kind of interacts with each of them in a way where they can both kind of connect to each other. So that's important. After I blend it up, if I didn't have this in there, if it was sitting for a while, things would start to separate a little bit. It also has the benefit of adding choline, which is something that normally comes from animal products. And since I'm at the moment experimenting again with veganism, this is a good way to get choline, which is important for a lot of reasons. So, and then for sweetness, I use something called xylitol. So this is it's a sugar that's comes from basically birch. It's sort of like birch syrup, or it comes from birch syrup. It has it's basically a sweetener which doesn't get your insulin going. It's not like sugar. Kind of keeps things much more calm, and also it has the benefit of making it so bacteria can't make biofilm, which is basically when you have lots of bacteria all together, they kind of create this thing around them which they all live in, which also protects them. And it was almost like your skin is basically like a biofilm of it's a really advanced, strong biofilm. So when bacteria make biofilm in your body, they can kind of take over in certain areas, and that can be troublesome. So like, for example, your teeth, xylitol is actually used for teeth cleaning because it prevents that from happening. So, all right, so I think, now I said chocolate. Yep. That's basically it. So I just add all of that stuff to a blender, and then I add the hot water, and then I'll mix it up, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So here we are again at the power station, and all I need to do is just turn on the power inverter so that I can run the blender off of DC current. Turn it on, and it gets loud. After about 30 seconds of blending, it's done. So I just pour it into each of the thermoses that I have. And then I just basically sip on that for, until a little past noon. I don't have breakfast, I just have this. This is quite a few calories just by this itself. And then in the afternoon, I'll usually have something like nuts or something that has a little bit more carb, but is still pretty high in fat. Avocado is another good afternoon snack, or like olives and stuff like that. So, and then later in the night, I'll have a big dinner that has a lot of carbs and greens in it. So that's basically my diet, and at some point I'll show you how those things generally go. But that's how I do my breakfast here in the truck. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. If you'd like to support the creation of more videos like this one, please consider buying me something to eat at feedawizard.org.